The SS, the Schutzstaffel, is going to become a state within a state, a nation within a nation. They are going to be the dark reflection of the Nazi Party. They are going to be the watchmen who watch the rest of the Nazi Party. Officially, the SS is also going to dominate the special secret police, a political police force called Gestapo. The Gestapo is run indirectly by the SS. The concentration camps will be run by the SS. The final solution will be run by the SS. And when party discipline needs to be enforced, remember the Night of the Long Knives, it'll be the SS that do it. When everything else fails, the SS, in its police form and in its Waffen or military form, are going to be Hitler's truest believers. So, what are some of the things they do? Well, in southern Germany, near a place called Dachau, the first Nazi concentration camp is set up. But Dachau is like baby's first concentration camp. It's a concentration camp with training wheels. At first, it's run by the SA, of all people, and they sort of ran it like a bunch of bully thugs. But then the SS took over. Now, a concentration camp, and you're going to learn this as we go through World War II and the final solution, the genocide, but a concentration camp is a gathering camp. It's a place to put all your rotten eggs in one basket and then watch those eggs. It's not a death camp. It's not even a labor camp where people are worked to death intentionally. It is a place to gather all of the bad elements and keep them away from society. So at Dachau and throughout Germany, other concentration camps are set up so that the bad people, the anti-Nazi people, which include Jews, communists, devout Christians of Roman Catholic and Protestant persuasion, gypsies, homosexuals, and anyone else that doesn't fit into the new order, is going to be concentrated away from normal daily life into these camps where they're going to live a benighted existence. And some of them will become labor camps, and some of the people will be sent on to death camps, but they come later. Now, how to celebrate? It is approaching the anniversary of the Beer Hall Putsch in November of 1938. In America, it's close to Thanksgiving. But we're not in America, we're in Germany. And the decision is made by the senior party officials to have a pogrom. Germany's first real pogrom, an officially sanctioned anti-Jewish riot, if you remember your vocabulary. So, organizations are set up in every town square, in every village, in every city neighborhood throughout Germany. As the sun begins to set, bonfires are lit, and speakers begin to gather the people together. Come around, German men, German women, German boys, German girls, we've got something to tell you. We got things going on, special things. You might think that this is going to be a book burning. The Nazis did a lot of that. They would take the works of people who they considered to be decadent or left-wing or Jewish, and they'd feed the fire with them. Well, there's going to be some of that. Yeah, we'll start out with some book burning because got to get rid of those evil books. But then, as full dark approaches, and as the crowd has been there long enough to get really excited, but not too long as to be tired, pickup trucks or wheelbarrows or horse-drawn carts filled with stones and bricks are trundled up to the side of where the meeting is being held. And the speakers say, "See over there? That's where the Jews live. Deal with them." The crowds, which have been worked up to a frenzy, grab stones and grab bricks and start throwing them through the windows of Jewish shops, Jewish homes. This gives the name to this pogrom, Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. Jew, come out! Jew, come down! Jew, come here now! The crowds, after shattering the windows, demand that the Jewish men and boys leave their homes and come out to the crowd. Those that do are beaten. Any Jew that stands up is probably taken away or maimed right there. And then the crowd goes into the homes of their neighbors, and they ransack the place. The women and children might be left alone, or they might be spit on, or they might be verbally abused, or they might be physically abused. And all the while, the police and the firemen are standing by watching, making sure that nothing that happens to the Jews spreads to the German homes, which might be right across the street or right next door. Now, the next morning, palls of smoke rise all over Germany. And the smoke are Jewish synagogues and temples, which are burned to the ground. The worst thing about Kristallnacht is not that it happened. The worst thing is who did what to whom. These weren't people from other towns. The riots were of people who had lived in this neighborhood or in this town, sometimes for generations. These Jews were their neighbors. 10, 20 years before, their children played with one another. They'd go to the market together. They'd be friends. Maybe the Jews had fought in the Great War under the Kaiser. Maybe they were war heroes. Maybe they were teachers or doctors or lawyers. But they were neighbors. They were people that this crowd personally knew. And they did this to people that they personally knew. Not faceless Juden. Not a group of strange Jews. No. Heinrich down the street, who looks as German as you or I. Not an Orthodox Jew, not a member of the Hasidim, but he's a Jew. And so people lost their humanity, gave it over to the mob, and behaved like beasts, or worse than beasts, because beasts don't do that to one another. However, for the second time, the women of Germany were horrified. The mothers of Germany had to somehow explain this disorderly, riotous, vile, vulgar behavior to their children who heard and saw it all. Even if the parents took the kids away from the window, the noise was so loud they couldn't get away from it. This is not in Ordnung. This is not in order. This is not German. This is the way Cossacks behaved back in the Jewish Pale of the old Russian Empire, when the shtetls had their pogroms. This is not the way Germany should be. So the mothers and housewives of Germany, let it be known to the Nazi wives and mothers how angry that they were that this was allowed to happen on their streets, in their neighborhoods, in front of their children. And it never happened again. Never. Hitler backed off. From now on, the persecution of the Jews is going to be done out of sight. And if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, and no one will get upset who Hitler cares to impress. And the wives and mothers of Germany are people who Hitler cares to impress. Now, the final lecture will be on National Socialist policy and dogma as it develops during the Second World War.